At some point, your paths, or at least crossed with Jackson or Jackson's horse?
I'll never forget the first time I met Bob.
Sure.
And I saw his picture, so I knew who he was. And one time I turned around and Bob was standing almost behind me. Mm-hmm. And I just said, Bob. I never referred to him as Mr. Jackson. To me, he was just Bob, and that was it. And he never said anything different. So
he was already in Washington, and he was in the government, or he was still living in Jamestown?
Oh no, he was. When I first met him, he was Attorney General.
Okay.
And then all of a sudden, there's a big headline in the picture of Bob Jackson. He was Supreme Court Justice appointed by President Roosevelt.
Mm-hmm. Now, how did you know that you could feel comfortable turning around, seeing the Attorney General of the United States, and you're 20 some years younger than him, and you call him Bob?
Well, I don't know. I can't give you that honest statement today, but I just turned around and said, hi, Bob, because I saw his picture in the paper. And I'll never forget the first time I shook hands with him. That was the last time I did. Being that kind of a man in office, I just give him a fishtail handshake. That was the biggest mistake I ever made, because when he come down on that, it was like a vice grip. And I went right up on my tiptoes. Boy, I was glad when he let loose. This next time I saw him, I went right straight in. Bob, it's good to see you. I never made that mistake again. But boy, I'm telling you, he clamped down there like a vice grip. I went right up on my tiptoes.
You're a tall man. How tall are you?
5'10".
5'10". Okay. Was he your height? Shorter?
I'd say give an inch one way or the other.
Okay.
But he had this dynamic personality.
Mm-hmm. On working his horses at all, or preparing his horses?
There was a bench out on the front end of the barn there, and I used to sit out there and, just watch the traffic going by, and all of a sudden the phone would ring, and Pelly would come out and yell, Don, Bob's up in the way, get Renee ready for him. So I'd run to the box stall and get her out, saddle and bridle, and I no more had the bridle on her, and here comes Bob driving up in the car. So I'd leave her out to the entrance of the barn, and he'd be out, and he'd mount her, and the way they'd go for 2 or 3 hours, way out back.
Did he tend to ride by himself, or would he have?
No, he rode. As far as I know, I never saw him ride with anybody.
Okay.
Is it Rainey?
Rainey.
And what kind of horse was that?
She was a beautiful saddle-bred horse. She was like a buckskin. Mm-hmm. Beautiful horse. I just loved to be around her, because I used to open up the box door and walk in and just put my arm around her and pet her and talk to her. I guess that's what happened when you're a horse nut.